Okay, I think we are live. Let's just give it another minute or two for people to join in. While we wait, it would be nice to hear where you're all tuning in from and also what brings you here today. Maybe you have a wish to learn more about AI or how we can dive deep into our topics today. Okay. And we can get started slowly. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to today's Rapidi webinar about return on AI, why we see 95% of companies see no results and why 5% are actually succeeding and what that means to their business. Let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm Beate Thompson, co-founder of Rapidi, and for those who don't know me, I spent more than 2 decades, actually, a little bit more maybe, in IT and design. And my focus at Rapidi has always been on product design and making our platform simple to use and actually without coding experience. Rapidi, as a company, provides data integration solutions, meaning that we connect systems so that you can move data automatically between them. And our specialty is connecting the CRM and ERP systems like Salesforce, HubSpot, or Dynamics Sales or the Dynamics ERPs. However, we also do support other systems and databases. And today I have the pleasure again that I'm joined by Deepak Huda, who's our portfolio CFO at CFO Center UK. And CFO Center UK is a large network, or actually the largest networks of a portfolio CFO in the world with over 750 CFOs across the globe. So we did a webinar together last month, which was about AI and the hidden cost of bad data. And for those who weren't at the session, let me tell you also that Deepak advises finance leaders across a wide range of businesses and also on financial control and how you can improve the performance and also how they can make better decisions. So that means that he sees up close what happens in the when there's an AI investment and how it goes and also where it goes wrong. So Deepak, good to have you back.
Thank you, Beata, for kind of inviting me. It's good to kind of back. And every CFO conversation I'm having is now about ROI somewhere in it. So I think it's an interesting conversation.
Yes, and yeah, you see it everywhere, right? So there might be somewhat an AI fatigue, but we still wanted to make this webinar because, we still find it important, that topic, to know what you spend your money on, right? So, and what exactly, that's exactly why we want to dive into these topics today. So let me quickly run through what we are going to cover today. We will start with an AI return on investment reality check, as we call it here, and what the research actually shows. Then in section 2, we will move to why we will show why, or talk about why most AI projects fail. And then in the third section, we will see about who are actually succeeding in getting their AI project right and what they do differently. And then in the next section, we will touch upon why your CRM and ERP setup actually determines whether your AI investments actually pays off or not. And then also we wanted to give you some actionable items that you can take away from this webinar today and use right away, namely an AI playbook and with some concrete steps to follow, and an AI ROI calculator so you actually can put some numbers on it. And then lastly, of course, we have Q&A. So feel free to put your questions in the chat here or in the comment section here. And then we will take them in the end in this section where we have it. So and then also along the way, we'll have a couple of polls in the chat with a question that we would like you to answer to get an idea about your challenges and also on today's topic. So let's dive in. So we will open this session with some interesting stats that tells a little bit about the landscape today. Like MIT published research in 25 that US businesses in 25 has collectively invested up to $40 billion in AI. The findings were also actually that 95% of enterprise AI projects show zero measurable return on investment, which I find is kind of staggering. So and it's not just MIT, it's also IBM that looked at enterprise-wide AI initiatives and found return on investment of 5.9% against a 10% capital investment, resulting in net negative. So Deepak, as a CFO advisor, how does that land seeing those stats that we have looked at so far?
It's not surprising, actually. This is what a lot of people are saying. In fact, I was on a roundtable this morning. I think we were talking about the same problem. There's a lot of AI spending happening right now, and but very few boards are actually seeing the returns. 61% of CEOs, for example, say they face more pressure to prove AI ROI than they did a year ago. That's a big number because boards are under a lot of pressure, and it's quite real, the pressure. And there aren't really answers for most companies.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah. And also here, I believe the investors aren't really being patient. They want, of course, to see results. So we see here some more research from Teneo that shows that 53 of investors expect positive return on investment in AI within 6 months or less. Oh, that's really fast. And actually, the real world says that 84% of CEOs says that's simply not realistic. So this is a huge gap here, I see.
Yes, and that gap is the core problem. Just because AI is doing things fast doesn't mean you'll get the return on investment faster. So that doesn't work like that. I think expectations were set too high, too fast. Companies bought the tools before they couldn't really understand what success would look like. And then when the cost comes in and the result don't, this creates problems.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we want to see here. What we can maybe see, what we can conclude in today's discussion. So let's see if we can answer 2 questions here. Why 95% of companies are not seeing results, and what actually the 5% do that are succeeding and getting results. So let's take a look at some of the failure first. There are, of course, many reasons, but we have chosen 4 main reasons here on why AI projects fail. So let's have a look at each one of them. Deepak, the first, no clear use case. What does it look like for you in practice? Yeah.
I mean, it seems that a company that bought an AI tool because it felt like the right thing to do, and then try to work out what to do with it afterwards. There's a research company called Gallup. It found that only 15% of US employees say their workplace has a clear AI strategy. So even if you ask your own organizations, many few will have a clear AI strategy. And the number is striking. Most AI rollouts begin with the tool, not the problem. And the successful ones do the other way around.
Yeah. And they're probably also enchanted by the hype, or just not follow what everybody else does. So, however, I agree that we need to get onto the AI wagon now, because it's here to stay, of course, and we also we have to stay competitive and you need to be in front of it, right? So
yeah. I agree with you there. However, you cannot just go and implement ahead without you having a vision or a strategy and then the use case to go along with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I agree on that. Yeah. So asking the audience here, getting some maybe some feedback from you. We would love to continue the discussion here. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. You can either answer the poll that we have posted here earlier. Where does your where does your organization currently stand with AI investment? Or simply just let us know your thoughts. It would be good to hear your opinion about that. Let's see if some interesting answers are coming in. So here, let's continue our reasons here. The second reason is wrong use cases. This one actually surprises me a little when I saw that data. So
Yeah, it is surprising. I think more than most of the budget goes towards sales and marketing, where everyone starts thinking where the upside is. But I think the research actually shows that back office automation, admin
mm,
tasks, repetitive processes, error handling delivers faster and more measurable payback.
mm,
And successful AI implementations are generating 2 to 10 million annually from back office automation. I think that's where ROI is easy to measure. It doesn't mean that you stop investing in marketing sales, but if you
yeah,
really want
yeah,
some quick wins, is your back office automation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I could imagine that. However, I think people's impression is maybe about implementing AI that sales and marketing is the most obvious one, and probably don't think about automating the back office right away. So, and I also can reveal that Rapidi is working hard on getting our AI to work for our clients and starting like error troubleshooting and handling, assisting and speeding up the process about integrating. So yeah, it's very exciting times. But let's see what will we have. Let's go to the next reason where we have bad data. This we actually also discussed in our last webinar
Yeah.
about AI and the hidden cost of bad data. So yeah, so Deepak, what happens when AI hits dirty data, so to speak?
Yeah, it's like garbage in, garbage out. So output becomes very sort of unreliable in many ways. AI doesn't tell you that the data is wrong. It just work on that sort of
Mm,
data. It
yeah.
produces a forecast or recommendation, with that being sort of the problem. And IBM's research actually showed that AI model performance drops significantly as soon as you
Mm,
have even 20% of data polluted. So if your CRM and ERP don't agree on customer records, for example, pricing or billing, AI is working from a broken picture and you don't even know
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what we also see often. And we'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's see. The fourth season is reason is building instead of buying. That one seems a little bit counter to intuitive because companies want control over the AI. So isn't that right, Deepak? What are your thoughts about
I
that?
think you can build something in if you have the expertise. Most organizations don't have the expertise. That's why you have to leave it to the professionals to do it. And MIT found that external partnerships achieve higher success. In fact, 66% deployment success versus 33% internal build. And building in-house sounds like more control. Yes, it does, but it means slower progress. You make more mistakes,
Mm,
and your return on investment goes down. So the companies doing well are focused on their core business, and partnering with the specialist for the technical implementation, in my view, is the best route.
yeah. I couldn't agree more on that. But this is a whole another discussion about which platform to use actually. So yeah, that's a good. So now we know why some reasons why most companies are struggling. And what about ones who aren't, Deepak? You've worked with finance leaders who have been through this. What separates them actually?
I think the ones that are doing it really well are focused. They're trying to solve one problem, trying to get some wins, and not 10. If you look at the
Mm,
MIT research linked to the study, it put it very well. Pick up one pain point, execute well, and partner smartly.
mm,
That's it. It's not a transformation program. It's a very specific decision to solve, one defined
mm,
problem and measure the result. One should also look for any connected problems that may be solved by solving one problem. As one should be smarter at picking up a problem, which will also resolve other connected problems. And then that's how you generate a higher ROI.
Yeah, it seems simple, right? So where do they actually start then?
Back office operations usually is the most effective way to starting, not customer facing AI, not executive dashboards.
Yeah.
It could be invoice processing, data reconciliations, error handling,
Mm.
the boring work that has clear inputs and outputs. The ROI is faster because you measure it directly and you
Mm.
reduce processing time by a significant number of hours.
Mm.
You basically catch some of the errors as well before they reach the customer. And that's where
Mm.
you see customers being satisfied. They stop complaining about errors on
Yeah.
the invoicing and other things.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. 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 And before any of that, there's also a step that we also see skipped constantly. So
Yeah, the data foundation. Yes,
yep.
yeah, a lot of AI projects have been involved in terms of building up those use cases. I think people forget about connected data.
Mm.
Not perfect data, but clean enough data so that AI can sort of tell you what is going on in your business.
Mm.
The companies that skip this step and deploy AI on top of messy data, you create problems for them in the future.
Yeah. 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 I can confirm that. There's also the measurement piece. Define what success looks like before you start, not after. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, so I think this is a CFO fundamental that gets forgotten in the excitement of
Mm.
AI. If you
Mm.
don't define the metrics before you deploy, you spend months arguing about whether it worked. The 5%, for example, savings on, as we look forward in the future, needs to be defined in terms of time, error rate, forecast
Mm.
accuracy, and then you kind of check it back regularly to make sure it is actually delivering those upsides.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And the last pattern, the number one that is are
Hard
hard
to
to
ignore.
ignore.
Absolutely, I think MIT data. If you look at it, it shows that 66 deployment success when you partner with specialists against 33% built internally. And that data is kind of quite extensive, and they've gone around looking at a lot of businesses. That's a very big difference, and I think that's where I think it's reflected in the 95% failures. To
Mm.
me, integration is not a key strength unless you are building AI products yourself. Then I understand, but
Mm.
it's give it to somebody who'll solve it for you and do it better than you.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Yeah, and I'm of course an advocate on this one, obviously. If you want to get anywhere with your project, getting your back office integrated and automated quickly, then you should definitely involve a specialist like, for example, Rapidi, if you like. This is exactly what Rapidi was built for, the way that we did with complete pre-configured templates so they can get started quickly and then no programming involved, so that that the companies that we work with, they don't have to be integration experts. So, but they can get the data connected, of course. So, yeah, it's something to keep in mind. So let's discuss a little bit more the specific about the data problem. I know we discussed it before also, but it is a fundamental part. And it's always discussed in a high level, is my impression, and they're not giving enough detail on it. So Deepak, from a CFO perspective, what are the data failures that actually destroy the return on investment of AI?
I think it's if you train your AI models based on stale data or incorrect data. For example, CRM shows pipeline, the ERP shows what's been invoiced, and they don't match. AI builds its model on the CRM view and produces a forecast that could be
Mm.
structurally wrong. I think 15% variance on a certain quarterly forecast cannot be a rounding error. It calls for much more deeper investigation. That's
Mm.
a board
Yeah,
level conversation. Then, so that's you have to be careful there.
yeah. And what about the next one of the mismatch pricing, as it says here?
Yeah, so AI-powered, quoting with mismatch pricing is clean way to lose margin without realizing it. So
Mm.
if the ERP gets updated and the CRM doesn't, what happens is the AI tool quotes tool keeps generating proposals at the old price. You close
Yeah,
the deal, process it through the ERP, and the numbers don't reconcile.
yeah.
At scale, with AI generating these proposals quickly, the damage accumulates fast because people will then rely on AI to give them the answer
Mm.
on a wrong set of data.
Yeah, yeah. So the fix before of any of this, so before any AI tools, is making sure that your systems or CRM or ERP are connected and in sync. The records are consistent, and then when something fails, you know about it immediately. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the third one, I think, which is the duplicate customer records. I think it's worth mentioning that. That's a sort of
Mm.
a very common one. Customer analysis on duplicate records could mean that AI is reading two customer names, whereas in fact it's just one, which just been
Yeah.
sort of entered incorrectly. So these are some of the errors that could be compounded.
Mm. Yeah, and these are the prerequisites that AI vendors don't mention so often. So, and they still
Yeah.
use the capacity. They don't tell you about the data foundation. It has to be in place first, right? So, yeah, yeah. So, all right. Now we talked a little bit about failures and success in getting your AI investment right. It's time for you to get some real utensils so you can get started on it, on your own investment to get that right. Deepak and I, we wanted to give you some practical things to take away from today. So we built actually an ROI AI playbook for you, which are 3 steps for you to succeed in your endeavor. We can walk through it together. So step 1, audit your current AI spending and outcome. Deepak, will you walk through it? Elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So yeah, step one is the difficult one. I think listing
Mm,
every AI tool and initiative your company is running. What is it
mm,
supposed to do? Is it doing it? Can you actually measure it?
mm,
If you can't answer the questions, then that initiatives should be paused, or in fact, we should get rid of it.
mm,
The companies that are moving forward will have very short list of AI initiatives with very clear metrics, not 10 projects
mm,
with vague goals. So that's why I think we mentioned that initially. Focus
mm.
on a few, not many.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and step 2, we have discussing quite a bit now. So fix your data foundation. This is where we focus, of course. Yeah, get your systems connected and get them synced so that the data is consistent across systems. And yeah, and the third step, Deepak.
Yeah, so I think this particular step, for example, it's this sort of I think if we start with the back office, pick something with clear inputs and outputs, like invoice
Mm,
processing, data reconciliation, error handling, where you're seeing a lot of problems.
mm,
Define the success metric before you start, and then measure regularly.
mm,
Don't try to transform the business in 6 months. Get one win and then really build on that.
yeah,
And that number you can bring to the board, so to give them a bit of trust and move on.
yeah, yeah. And as we mentioned earlier on the partnership point, don't build everything internally yourself. Don't invent the wheel. If there's already good working solutions available that can work for you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Because I think the data is clear that 66% success rate comes with working with external partners.
Mm, mm,
Your competitive edge is your business, not your ability to build custom AI agents. So
mm.
to use specialists as far as possible, and focus on your people, on the problems only your company can solve.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. We will leave the link here for the AI RI playbook in the chat so you can download it and yeah, read it, use it. We will be happy to provide you that. And we're not done with that. We'll give you more. So we've talked about the problem, and we have talked about the successful 5%, what they do differently. And we have also talked about why it's important to connect your CRM and ERP or any systems to get the data foundation right. So you get your investment right also. Now let's give you something practical for you to actually be able to do some calculations on to get some numbers. So with the help of Deepak, we have built an calculator, an AI ROI calculator for this, specifically for this. So Deepak, if you can walk us through through it, and then we can have a look.
So I hope everyone can see the screen as it just comes up. So basically, this calculator goes through 4 key stages. And basically, the first step is defining your business, what kind of business you have. I've taken some dummy numbers and try to work through it, and just to show you, this is one of the ways we can build it, I think, and you'll see why I've chosen this style of actually calculating ROI. So let's say your company has XYZ, professional services, revenue of let's say 500K, number of staff using CRM are equal, let's say, and the fully loaded cost is let's say $55 an hour. So that's basically I'm defining the company context in terms of CRM ERP. If I go into the next, let's how many hours you're spending on per month on CRM ERP calculations. So let's say you spend 20 working days times 2, 20, 40 hours. Your monthly cost of data errors like wrong invoicing, pricing mismatch, duplicate records, and you can set these on your own. Deals lost to inaccurate pricing, delayed codes, poor customer data visibility. I've put some numbers here. Let's say your forecast variance is 15%, and let's assume that you haven't invested anything in the business so far. And then we move on to the next one where we look at, okay, how much time is your team spending on, all those kind of coordination activities? What's their day rate? Do you have external consultancy that you use for change management and user training and communications? Basically, what I'm trying to kind of calculate here is the internal time and change management required to deal with those problems. Second thing is systems, or what will it cost? For example, I've just put some random numbers, and what is the sort of the license cost, annual cost to get such a solution in place. And then again, when we go to the processes, process cost of redesign and ongoing governance, there will be certain costs as well that you will associate with sort of managing CRM, ERP, and ongoing monthly process management cost as well. So when we put everything in place and we press on the ROI button, kind of it just shows you basically payback in terms of your investment and where the benefit is going to come from, whether it's from people, systems, or processes. I think behind this calculator, there's a lot of calculations in terms of assumptions and other things, and these calculators can be built individually for your business depending upon your metrics. But this is the framework I always use to kind of tell people where the benefits are coming from, because I think people need to understand the ROI return is through these three bundles, and then just makes your kind of life easier as to explain it to the board, and this is how we're going to get benefit from. So anyway, this can be adapted to be used. Happy to offer a free assessment, Viada, on your individual business case, and take it from there. Thank you.
This is great, really great. I love it. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, here's just a sum up of what Deepak just went through. So, Deepak, do you want to quickly resume it, or just in 1 minute, because running out of time here.
Okay, so thank you. I think I'll just summarize and say that.
Yeah, do that.
Your business can follow the principles on the calculator. I think it's easier to show people return where it's coming from rather than one big number and here's my return. Because if you don't have these buckets or certain other benchmark which are very specific, And I think that's where companies struggle be at. They can't pinpoint where the savings are coming from.
Yeah, and it's good to
So
do the
I would
calculations here.
definitely encourage you to put kind of in each category, it just makes it compelling, strong, and viable.
Yeah, and I think also we have it in the chat, the link, so you can just go there directly and try it out and for your business. And if you have any doubts or questions, feel free to reach out to me and Deepak. So yeah, awesome stuff. So this we had. So yeah, once again, thank you for this walkthrough. Deepak, final thoughts for the CFOs or business leaders sitting in this room here on this session today, and who know that they are not part of the 5%, but are in the 95%. What is the single most important thing they should do this week?
I think they should decide on what they want to measure and pick up one project where they can substantiate return before kind of seeking, let's say, I want 10 million to change the world, go with 1 million, fix some problems, establish ROI, and then go and have another conversation on the next 2 million and next 3 million. Because once you've started with a few projects and they start giving you benefits, the compounding effect of putting AI slowly in broken processes will certainly go a long way in sort of substantiating return on investment on the subsequent projects.
Yeah, perfectly put, and very insightful here. So actually AI is not failing, so AI implementation is failing, and that you can fix. So the path is the same wherever you are, in which industry, I guess. So if you're a manufacturer or distributor or professional services firm. So yeah, I would say pick the data, pick one problem, and then measure right away. So, and then try the AI calculator. Maybe it works for you. Yeah, and as Deepak also said, we are also ready to offer free assessment, and we will look at your data foundation, tell you where the gaps are, and what are the gaps to fill your that affects your AI ROI. So yeah, we post the links here that we have on the slide in the chat, and we also have our AI ready data checklist for you and AI ROI playbook that we talked about earlier. So feel free to download it. So I think we have 1 minute for questions. Let's just quickly go through that. Let me just have a look. Okay. There's one here. The MIT research says that 95% of AI projects show no measurable return. Does that mean that we should stop investing in AI altogether until the picture is clearer? What do you say, Deepak?
Not at all, but I think it does mean that stop investing in the way most companies are currently doing. The 95% failure rate is not a verdict on AI itself. It's a verdict on how AI projects have been set up, scoped, and measured. So the 5% succeeding are using the same tools, but they're doing it differently. They're clearly defined problems, clear use cases, measurable baseline. They know how many problems are there and what kind of problems will be solved by implementing this particular use case. So the right response to the 95% stat is not to pause your AI investment, is to audit what you're currently spending. Identify which ones have clear metrics, which one don't, or which ones can wait any. So that's what I would say.
Okay, I think we'll take one more question here. Yeah, you said that back office automation delivers better ROI than customer facing ROI. Can you give a specific example on what that actually looks like in the mid-market business? Oh yeah, good
So
question.
let's take, it's a good one. Let's take Dynamics and Salesforce. I think you have like finance team members spending a lot of time reconciling the two systems. That's really not a value-adding work. It's an expensive error correction because the CRM is normally managed by the sales team and the ERP is managed by the finance team. So there's always this problem. But when you fix that integration and layer in AI for the matching session, then 2 to 4 days collapse to a few hours. I think that's where I think Rapidi has built its sort of expertise in to basically solve that problem. And
Yep.
for me, I think everything starts with the funnel at the top. That is your sales. So you have to get it right.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. Let's just take a last one here. You mentioned defining success metrics about before you start. What are the 2 or 3 specific metrics a CFO should insist on before approving any AI budget? That's definitely for you.
Yeah, I think I'll say is first to measure your current state, really understand what is the problem, not an estimate but an actual number. If the tool is required to support improve forecast accuracy, what is your variance today? So define that problem first. You cannot measure improve baseline until you have established that. The second one I would say is have a sort of what's your return that you're expecting. It may not be a massive return. I mean, you don't need like 130% ROI return, but first define what is that reasonable return in terms of what's your hurdle rate, what will get it past the investment committee, for example. And the third is, you should have an owner defined who can measure this return on a sort of a periodic basis so that they can tell, okay, this is what we have done so far, this is the return we are seeing. And then telling the others about that.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely, yeah. Thank you for enlightening us. I think we are done with the time here, so we need to wrap up. Let me just quickly, if you can give us some feedback on this webinar, what do you think about it? And we leave the link here in the chat. That will be really great. And and thank you all for participating today in this webinar. We hope you find it useful and you're eager to try out our resources that we have provided today. And as I mentioned before, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn or sign up for a free assessment or just contact us if you have anything. So Deepak, thank you very much for being here today. It was always a pleasure to have you here. So
thank you, Vera. And good luck to everyone working through this. I think I always say leave it to the experts. And the companies that get it right won't be the ones who spend the most. They're the ones who do the preparation work first, and that's the fundamental key.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Final thoughts. Final sentence for today. So thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.